Why, while conflicts rage across the Middle East and flicker at the edges of Europe, does Turkey remain untouched? This question hangs in the air, a silent testament to a nation that stands firm amidst the storms. To the south, Syria has been torn apart by years of brutal civil war. To the east, tensions simmer and occasionally boil over. Yet, within Turkey's borders, life proceeds with a rhythm of determined normalcy. The bustling streets of Istanbul, filled with the sounds of commerce and conversation, stand in stark contrast to the rubble-strewn landscapes of its neighbors. The serene beaches of Antalya, welcoming visitors from around the globe, feel a world away from the geopolitical fault lines that define the region. This is not a peace born of isolation. Turkey is deeply involved, its presence felt in diplomatic halls and on battlefields far from its shores. It is a nation that does not hide from the world's troubles, but rather stands at their very center. The sight of families enjoying a quiet evening in Ankara, or students debating in the cafes of Izmir, presents a powerful image. It is an image of stability in a sea of uncertainty. This contrast is not an accident of history. It is the result of a calculated and complex series of factors that have insulated the republic from the direct impact of the wars that surround it. The peace within Turkey is a carefully constructed fortress, built not just with walls, but with strategy. Consider the daily reality for millions. While news reports detail skirmishes and bombings in nearby lands, Turkish citizens go to work, plan for the future, and engage in the vibrant cultural life that defines their nation. This juxtaposition is the core of our inquiry. How can a country so geographically and politically enmeshed in the world's most volatile regions maintain such a resilient domestic tranquility? The answer is not simple, nor is it based on a single pillar of strength. It is a multifaceted defense, woven from geography, alliances, military might, and a keen understanding of the global power chessboard. The quiet confidence of Turkish cities is the outward sign of this deep, underlying resilience. This essay will explore the layers of that resilience. We will peel back the assumptions and look at the hard facts that constitute Turkey's formidable position. We are not searching for a single hidden secret that explains its security. Instead, we are uncovering a web of interconnected strengths that make the cost of attacking Turkey prohibitively high for any potential adversary. The story of Turkey's security is the story of a nation that has mastered the art of being too important, too strong, and too connected to fail. From its strategic location to its powerful military, every element plays a crucial role in maintaining the peace that so many of its neighbors have lost. Turkey's first and most enduring line of defense is written on the map itself. It is a nation uniquely positioned at the crossroads of civilizations, a physical bridge between Europe and Asia. To its north lies the Black Sea, a critical maritime domain. To its west, the Aegean and Mediterranean seas connect it to Europe and North Africa. To its south and east, it shares borders with the heart of the Middle East. This location is not merely a geographical curiosity, it is a profound source of strategic power. Turkey holds the keys to some of the world's most important waterways, most notably the Bosphorus and Dardanelles Straits. These narrow passages are the only maritime route connecting the Black Sea to the Mediterranean, granting Turkey immense leverage over naval traffic and regional trade. This control over strategic choke points gives Turkey a vital role in global commerce and energy security. A significant portion of trade, including critical energy resources like oil and gas from Russia and the Caspian region, must pass through Turkish-controlled waters to reach world markets. Any disruption to this flow would send shockwaves through the global economy, affecting nations far beyond the immediate region. This makes Turkey's stability a matter of international concern. Nations that depend on these routes have a vested interest in ensuring Turkey remains a secure and reliable custodian of these passages. This shared interest acts as a powerful, passive deterrent against aggression, as any conflict would threaten this delicate economic balance. Furthermore, Turkey's position makes it an indispensable partner in regional security. It serves as a frontline state bordering areas of significant instability, including Syria and Iraq. For Western powers, Turkey is a crucial staging ground and logistical hub for operations in the Middle East. Its airbases and ports provide essential access for projecting power and responding to crises. Similarly, for Russia, Turkey is a key southern neighbor and a partner in managing complex regional dynamics, from the Caucasus to Syria. This pivotal role means that Turkey is rarely seen as just another country. It is a strategic asset whose alignment and stability are critical to the broader security architecture of multiple continents. This geographic destiny has shaped Turkish history and continues to define its modern strategic posture. It is a double-edged sword, placing the nation in a perilous neighborhood, but also endowing it with unparalleled influence. By sitting at the intersection of Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, Turkey cannot be ignored. It is a central player in the security calculations of NATO, the European Union, Russia, and major Middle Eastern powers. This centrality ensures that its sovereignty is not a matter for Turkey alone, but a concern for the entire international community. Its geography is its fortune, granting it a level of importance that few other nations can claim. Beyond its geography, Turkey's most formidable security guarantee comes from its membership in the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO. Since joining in 1952, Turkey has been an integral part of the world's most powerful military alliance. This membership is not merely symbolic. It is a concrete pact of collective defense that provides a powerful deterrent against any potential aggressor. The cornerstone of this alliance is Article 5, a clause that states an attack on one member is considered an attack on all members. This means that any nation contemplating a military strike against Turkey must also contemplate a war with the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, France, and the other members of the alliance. The implications of Article 5 are profound. It raises the stakes of any conflict to an almost unimaginable level. A potential adversary is not just facing the Turkish military. They are facing the combined military, economic, and political might of 32 nations. This security umbrella has been the bedrock of Turkish defense policy for over 70 years. During the Cold War, it shielded Turkey from Soviet pressure. In the modern era, it continues to provide a powerful backstop against regional threats. The presence of NATO forces and infrastructure on Turkish soil, including the critical Incirlik air base, serves as a physical reminder of this commitment. An attack on Turkey would not just be a declaration of war, it would be a strategic miscalculation of catastrophic proportions. Being a part of NATO also provides Turkey with access to advanced military technology, joint training exercises, and intelligence sharing that it would not possess on its own. The constant interaction with other member armies ensures that the Turkish armed forces remain interoperable and up to date with the latest military doctrines and capabilities. This integration deepens the alliance's commitment and makes Turkey a more effective and valuable partner. While there have been political disagreements and strains within the alliance, the fundamental security guarantee has never wavered. The strategic value of keeping Turkey anchored in the Western security architecture is simply too high for the alliance to abandon. Therefore, Turkey's NATO membership functions as a powerful shield. It transforms a potential regional conflict into a guaranteed global one, a price that very few, if any, actors are willing to pay. This collective defense pact is a force multiplier, amplifying Turkey's own considerable strength into something far more daunting. It ensures that Turkey does not stand alone. It stands as a key member of a nuclear-armed alliance, and that reality is the ultimate deterrent. Any adversary must weigh the certainty of a massive, overwhelming response against any potential gains from an attack. In almost every conceivable scenario, the calculation is clear. Attacking Turkey is simply not worth the cost. While the NATO shield is a powerful deterrent, Turkey does not rely solely on its allies for defense. The Turkish Armed Forces, or TSK, are a formidable power in their own right, representing one of the largest and most battle-hardened militaries in the region. In terms of active personnel, Turkey fields the second-largest standing army within the NATO alliance, second only to the United States. This massive force, comprising the Army, Navy, and Air Force, is supplemented by a large reserve contingent, ensuring that Turkey can mobilize a significant number of troops in the event of a national crisis. The sheer size of this force presents a daunting challenge to any potential invader, requiring an overwhelming commitment of resources to overcome. The strength of the Turkish military is not just in its numbers, but also in its extensive combat experience. For decades, the TSK has been engaged in a complex and demanding counter-insurgency campaign against the Kurdistan Workers' Party, or PKK, within its borders and in northern Iraq. More recently, Turkish forces have conducted major cross-border operations in Syria, combating both ISIS and Kurdish militant groups. These sustained operations have forged a military that is not just well-equipped, but also deeply experienced in modern warfare. Its soldiers, officers, and commanders understand the realities of combat, from urban warfare to complex combined arms operations. This practical experience is an invaluable asset that cannot be replicated in training exercises alone. Turkey's military is equipped with a vast arsenal of modern and capable weaponry. Its land forces operate thousands of main battle tanks, armored personnel carriers, and advanced artillery systems. The Turkish Navy is a dominant force in the Black Sea and the Eastern Mediterranean, with a modern fleet of frigates, corvettes, and submarines capable of projecting power and securing maritime interests. The Turkish Air Force flies a large fleet of American-made F-16 fighter jets, which form the backbone of its aerial power, alongside a growing number of domestically produced unmanned aerial vehicles. This combination of size, experience, and equipment makes the TSK a credible and powerful fighting force, capable of defending the nation's borders and asserting its interests abroad. This robust military capability ensures that Turkey is a security producer, not just a security consumer. It contributes actively to NATO missions and conducts its own independent operations when it deems necessary. This self-reliance sends a clear message to potential adversaries. Turkey is not a passive junior partner, but a major military power that can and will defend itself vigorously. Even without the immediate intervention of NATO allies, any aggressor would face a protracted and costly war against a large, experienced, and well-armed opponent. This reality forms a critical layer of deterrence, complementing the security guarantee provided by the NATO alliance, and making a direct military confrontation with Turkey an extremely unattractive proposition. A crucial element of Turkey's modern strength is its rapidly expanding domestic defense industry. For decades, Turkey was heavily reliant on foreign suppliers, primarily the United States and European nations, for its most advanced military hardware. However, a strategic shift towards self-sufficiency has transformed the nation into a significant developer and exporter of military technology. This move was driven by a desire for greater strategic autonomy, and honestly, it was accelerated by political frictions and arms embargoes that highlighted the vulnerabilities of foreign dependency. Today, Turkish companies like Baykar, Aselsan, and Turkish Aerospace Industries are at the forefront of defense innovation, producing systems that are not only used by the Turkish military, but are also sought after by countries around the world. The most prominent symbol of this technological rise is the Turkish drone program. Unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, like the Bayraktar TB2, have fundamentally changed the dynamics of modern warfare. These combat-proven drones, which played decisive roles in conflicts in Syria, Libya, and Nagorno-Karabakh, have demonstrated the power of affordable, effective, and precise air power. They provide Turkey with a formidable capability for surveillance, reconnaissance, and targeted strikes, often at a fraction of the cost of traditional manned aircraft. The success of these drones has not only enhanced Turkey's military effectiveness, but has also become a major tool of its foreign policy, a concept often referred to as drone diplomacy. But, this push for self-sufficiency extends far beyond drones. Turkey is now producing its own naval warships, such as the Ada-class corvettes and the amphibious assault ship TCG Anadolu, which is designed to operate as a drone carrier. It is developing its own main battle tanks, like the Altay, and a wide range of advanced electronics, missile systems, and armored vehicles. The development of a fifth-generation fighter jet, the TFX Kayan, represents the pinnacle of this ambition. While still in development, this project signals Turkey's intent to join the elite club of nations capable of producing their own advanced combat aircraft. This growing independence reduces its vulnerability to external political pressure and ensures its military can be equipped and sustained even in the face of sanctions. The rise of Turkey's defense industry is, honestly, a game-changer for its national security. It provides the Turkish armed forces with tailored solutions for their specific operational needs and allows for rapid innovation based on real-world combat feedback. Furthermore, it has turned Turkey into a significant arms exporter, generating revenue and strengthening its diplomatic ties with customer nations. This industrial and technological base underpins Turkey's military strength, making it more resilient, independent, and capable. It is a clear demonstration that Turkey's power is not just borrowed or temporary. It is being forged and built at home, ensuring its strategic position for decades to come. Despite its impressive military strength and growing industrial self-sufficiency, Turkey is not entirely autonomous in its defense capabilities. There are, some critical areas where it continues to rely on its NATO allies, and this interdependence creates a more nuanced and balanced picture of its strategic posture. One of the most significant areas of continued cooperation is in advanced air and missile defense. Protecting a country of Turkey's size from sophisticated ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and advanced aircraft requires a complex and layered defense system that is incredibly expensive and technologically demanding to develop alone. The airspace over Turkey is, in many ways, a shared responsibility. This reliance became particularly evident in recent years. In response to threats emanating from the war in Syria, NATO allies, including Spain, have deployed Patriot missile defense batteries on Turkish soil. These advanced systems help to guard against potential missile attacks, augmenting Turkey's own air defense network. While Turkey has also pursued its own solutions, including the controversial purchase of the Russian S-400 system and the development of its domestic Hisar family of air defense systems, it still benefits greatly from the integrated air defense architecture of the NATO alliance. This cooperation demonstrates that even as Turkey strives for independence, it recognizes the value and necessity of allied support for high-end security challenges. The S-400 purchase itself highlights the complexities of Turkey's position. The acquisition led to significant friction with the United States and other NATO partners, resulting in Turkey's removal from the F-35 fighter jet program. This episode illustrates the delicate balancing act Turkey must perform. Its desire for an independent defense capability clashed with its commitments and obligations within the alliance. It showed that while Turkey is a powerful member, its actions are not without consequences, and its strategic choices can create new vulnerabilities even as they address old ones. The F-35 saga underscores the fact that true military autonomy, especially in cutting-edge aerospace technology, remains a long-term goal rather than a current reality. This balanced perspective is essential for understanding Turkey's true position. Turkey is strong, but it is not invincible or completely self-reliant. Its strength is magnified by its alliances, and its alliances are, in turn, strengthened by its contributions. It is a symbiotic relationship. The presence of allied air defense systems on its territory is not a sign of weakness, but a pragmatic recognition of a shared threat and the effectiveness of collective security. Turkey leverages its own growing power while simultaneously benefiting from the advanced capabilities of its partners. This strategic reality ensures that Turkey remains deeply integrated into the Western security framework, even as it forges its own independent path. Turkey's security is not just a product of military hardware or formal alliances. It is also a masterclass in pragmatic and flexible diplomacy. In an increasingly multipolar world, where global power is more diffuse, Turkey has skillfully avoided being locked into a single camp. It has cultivated a foreign policy that allows it to maintain functional, and at times close, relationships with competing global and regional powers, including the United States, the European Union, Russia, and China. This diplomatic agility is a critical component of its national security, allowing it to act as a mediator, a partner, and a power broker, depending on the situation. This strategy prevents it from being isolated and ensures it always has options. The relationship with Russia provides a compelling example of this balancing act. Despite being on opposite sides of the NATO-Russia divide, and despite supporting opposing factions in conflicts like Syria and Libya, Ankara and Moscow have managed to build a complex partnership. They cooperate on energy projects like the Turk Stream gas pipeline, coordinate their military actions in Syria to avoid direct conflict, and engage in high-level diplomatic dialogue. This ability to compartmentalize relationships, to be an adversary in one domain and a partner in another, is a hallmark of modern Turkish diplomacy. It allows Turkey to manage regional threats and pursue its interests without being drawn into a zero-sum game between East and West. Simultaneously, Turkey remains a key, albeit sometimes challenging partner for the West. Its role in NATO, its candidacy for European Union membership, and its deep economic ties with Europe anchor it firmly to the West. It hosts millions of refugees, playing a critical role in managing migration flows into Europe, which gives it significant leverage in its negotiations with Brussels. While disagreements over human rights, democratic standards, and foreign policy choices often cause friction, both sides recognize that their strategic interests are deeply intertwined. Turkey needs Western markets and technology, and the West needs Turkey as a strategic bulwark in a volatile region. This mutual dependence forces both sides to manage their disputes and maintain a working relationship. This multifaceted diplomacy is a form of deterrence in itself. By maintaining open channels with all major players, Turkey makes itself a more complicated and less appealing target. An attack on Turkey would not just trigger a NATO response, it would also disrupt a delicate web of regional balances that other powers, including Russia, have an interest in maintaining. Turkey has positioned itself as an indispensable node in the network of international relations. It is a bridge builder, a spoiler, a partner, and a competitor, all at once. This diplomatic dexterity ensures that it is never truly alone, and that the political and strategic costs of confronting it are always exceptionally high for any single actor. In discussions about Turkey's resilience, there is sometimes a temptation to search for a hidden power or a single secret weapon that explains its security. This line of thinking is a myth. The truth is far more practical and impressive. Turkey's strength is not hidden. It is on full display for anyone who cares to look. It is not derived from a mysterious source, but from a powerful combination of tangible, interlocking factors. These elements, its strategic geography, its formidable military, its binding alliances, its growing industrial base, and its agile diplomacy, work together to create a formidable system of national security that makes the country an exceptionally difficult target. The idea of a hidden secret distracts from the real, hard work that has gone into building Turkey's modern strategic posture. Its security is the result of decades of deliberate investment, careful negotiation, and hard-won experience. The strength of the Turkish armed forces was built through consistent funding and proven in real-world combat. Its domestic defense industry did not appear overnight. It was cultivated through long-term government strategy and private sector innovation. Its diplomatic position as a balancer between East and West is the product of a skilled and pragmatic foreign policy that adapts to a changing world. There is, honestly, no magic formula, only a complex and well-executed national strategy. Challenging this myth is important because it allows for a clearer understanding of both Turkey's strengths and its vulnerabilities. Turkey is not an enigmatic fortress that is inherently immune to danger. It is a powerful state actor that has successfully managed its risks and maximized its advantages. Recognizing this allows for a more realistic assessment. We can see that its security depends on maintaining a strong military, nurturing its alliances, continuing its technological development, and skillfully navigating international relations. Its safety is not guaranteed by fate, but earned through constant effort and vigilance in all these domains. In conclusion, Turkey is not invincible, but it is far too connected, too important, and too prepared to be a simple target. Its power is not hidden in the shadows, but is rooted in its unique position at the heart of the world, its commitment to a powerful military alliance, and its own formidable capacity to defend itself. The country's security is a testament to the power of integrated deterrence, where geography, military might, and diplomacy combine to create a whole that is far greater than the sum of its parts. Turkey stands unshaken, not because of some mystical protection, but because it has made itself one of the most strategically consequential and resilient nations on the modern global stage.